Welcome to the Profits and Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle DeTeach, or Coach Danni D, and I help women entrepreneurs and professionals to achieve their personal success stories that include joy, fulfillment, and balance. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease, be successful, and enjoy your life. My happy place is spending as much time in my PJs as humanly possible. And I want to help other women find their happy space while running profitable businesses or having a successful career. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello and welcome to the Profits and Pajamas podcast. I am your host, Coach Danni D. Always here helping you to find that space of balance, that space where you are no longer tied to grind culture, whether you are an entrepreneur or in professional space, that you are able to navigate in a way that success looks like all areas of your life being in alignment and moving in a positive direction. So that we're not just using those financial metrics or vanity metrics as ways of saying that we are successful, right? Of course, we want to be making the money. Of course, we want to be, growing our businesses or advancing in our careers, but in a way that is not at our own personal detriment. So that is me in a nutshell. So today, I want to come to y'all with I have a topic that I want to get into that has come up, a few times this week, comes up often, but this week I've had a few really rich conversations where this topic has come up. But before I get there, I am going to take a minute. I'm going to do, like Niecy Nash. I was on a podcast the other day and somebody referenced this situation, but also I know Snoop has done it. A lot of people have in their speeches. I'm going to give a shout out to myself. I'm going to thank myself. So, what I want to thank myself for. So, in the last 2 months, I have released two books. In 2026, if you are watching, you see me holding up the books. If not, I'm gonna talk about it. Don't worry. But in 2025, I wrote two books, and both of them are now released. And I'm actually working on a anthology project that's going to be coming out in March. So I am absolutely proud of myself for sticking it out, for getting these out there into the world. And they are part of me having some of these conversations that I've been having recently about both of these things that y'all hear me talk about all the time. So the one book, the one that came out in December, I've talked about that one already, is The Capable Confident You. And that book is, focusing on getting to the root of imposter syndrome and putting it to rest, right? Not saying that you're not going to still have those moments. I still currently have moments where I'm like, oh my God, I did my first book club. So for both of these books, I've set up a book club so that we can go a little bit deeper than just reading the book, right? And I will have the link to that in the show notes for you guys. But I did my first book club for The Capable Confident You this weekend. And one of the things that I talked about was the fact that, the second that I, like, put out there that, okay, this book is out, here came imposter syndrome, rolled in and was like, girl, are you sure? Um, but that's how, that's a part of the process. It's going to happen. You're going to have those doubts. But this is the blueprint of how you get to having better mastery over it. So yes, I had that moment. Yes, I sat in the corner and was like, I did this, now I want to hide. But I also had the language and the framework to then say, no, this is what you were supposed to be doing. And there's no reason to hide. And I knew how to find my own evidence. You're doing the thing that you need to be doing to talk myself out of what I had, wound up in my head, right? So that is out there. That is what the Capable Confident You is about. And the tagline is ditch imposter syndrome, master your voice, and walk in your purpose. And one of the premises there is that for some reason, even for high achieving women, we struggle when we are trying to walk in our purpose because that work hits a little different than the other things that we may have accomplished, right? So out there, that's in the universe. All right, so the day after my birthday, January 13th, this one came out. I don't do it all, and neither should you. Aligning your calendar, aligning your calendar to find balance, purpose, and fulfillment. So this, if y'all have been following me, for a while, this one corresponds with the calendar detox, right? And as we enter the new year, I feel like there's a lot of pressure in the new year to go, 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 go. And people are just like overwhelmed. I just been having so many people just organically come up to me or on social media, just having this conversation, not knowing about the book, right? But just talking about this overwhelm, talking about, just all the things, right? And not realizing that it's because they really need to detox their calendar. They really need to pull some things back. We're not meant to do all the things, right? So those are the two books. I am so proud of myself. Like, it's weird sometimes when you're in the zone of things. Like, people close to me have been sharing, their appreciation and sharing just, congratulations. But it's just starting to like, it's all still a little surreal and it's just starting to sink in. So I am going to, pat myself on the back, clap for myself for a moment for that. Because I can't teach y'all to celebrate yourselves and not celebrate myself, right? So, yes. So I am very proud of that. And I'm excited about what's going to come in this anthology project. And I'll start talking about that a little more in the coming weeks so that you can get excited about that too. And actually, the anthology project is birthed from the podcast itself, right? These two books have come out of my coaching and the programs. The anthology is based on a podcast, and the contributing authors are past guests from the podcast. So that's going to be really exciting. Okay, now to the topic. I hope I didn't lose anybody because the topic is I got to get this up. So the phrase that came to my mind as I was sitting thinking about, okay, what am I going to talk about on this episode? And it was show me your ID, right? And it was kind of, a little tongue in cheek because I'm, laughing at the fact that, like I said, was that last week? Yeah, last week was my birthday, and you know, I'm well beyond the show me your ID age. But every once in a while, somebody will be like, show me your ID, and I don't, know the rhyme or reason. But anyways, so that was just funny to me. But honestly, show me your identity is where I'm going with this. So, like I said, I've had several very rich conversations over the last like couple of weeks, and a lot of them have surrounded the idea of being who you truly are and the pressure by society to push you in other directions. So, in one instance, I was talking to someone about, they were struggling with, they had bought courses and signed up for people's programs. And I am pro continued education. I am pro, learning different methodologies, but I think from a different perspective than a lot of people. So what I find is a lot of people come into the situation looking to find a roadmap, right? And they want to follow that, they want to follow it to a T. Like they don't want I don't know if roadmap is even the right terminology. I'm gonna switch it up. I think most people go into these programs looking for a train, right? And why I'm gonna say a train is because, in a car, you can go a variety of different ways and get to the same place. On a train, it's on a track, right? So you're looking for that track, and that track the track just goes where the track goes, right? You can't, a train can't turn on a dime and go in a different direction. A track goes where it goes. And so, you know, we're looking at what somebody else has done and we're trying to replicate it. And, I know I have a lot of balloon artists in my audience. Think about when somebody comes to you with a photo from another artist and they say, I want it just like that. It is almost impossible to replicate certain things, right? I mean, some things, because it's, classic decor and it's, measured. But even still, if you don't have that person's recipe, you're still guessing at those measurements. So you don't know that you are like getting it, 100% right, right? You might, if you're looking at a picture, you're making educated guess. It's almost impossible for an artist to replicate their own work. So imagine trying to replicate somebody else's. And that's what you're doing when you're entering these programs. You're trying to replicate when the intention is really for you to learn. Because there are going to be some modifications that need to be made. I'm not saying go in and you just do whatever you want and expect the same result as that person. But also, even if you do everything that they say, you may not get the same result because you're not them. You're not them. You have to inject you into the situation. Really not inject you into the situation. You have to pull from them what was meant for you and bring it back over to you because injecting you makes it seem like you're a side product. You are the product. You are the product. So, I've worked with great coaches. I'm working with great coaches. I am friends with a lot of great coaches. I am a great coach, right? But, when I'm working with my clients, my objective is not for me to say, you do this, you do that. I'm going to share with you things that have worked for me. I'm going to share with you, you know, advice, but even in the advice, I get to know my clients. And this is what, I'm hearing for you. I may not say that same thing to the next person because it's not a fit for them. And we have to get clarity on our identity. That's step one. Because if we don't know ourselves, then we cannot, be ourselves. And we cannot be in a situation, environment of learning and continue to be ourselves without absorbing what the other person is doing, right? And so then you go in and you come out as a mini that other person. And I'll give a personal example. So I did a coaching program, phenomenal coach, still using that wisdom and like still processing stuff to this day, right? That I'm like, now that thing makes sense, right? And we were given a template for how to do a workshop, right? And so I followed that template to the T, took, what I was doing and dumped it into that template. And I did the workshop and it felt really forced and really weird. And I didn't feel comfortable because it wasn't me. And there was nothing wrong with the template, but I was injecting myself instead of absorbing some of that content and adapting it to me, right? So that first workshop, it just wasn't, it didn't hit. It didn't hit like I wanted it to. So I was like, I gotta do something different. It just didn't feel right. And I was, and I had rehearsed and I had done all the things. It just didn't fit right. So the next time I had to do the workshop, I, kind of switched up what the topic was, and I was for whatever reasons, life was happening. Something happened, and I didn't get an opportunity to sit with the content. I didn't get an opportunity to sit with the content. And I sat down, like right before it was time to give this presentation. And I said to God, God, I prayed this prayer that day, and I prayed every time that I am in the capacity of whether I'm here on this podcast, whether I am writing, whether I am with a client, or doing a speaking engagement. I said, God, let me say what the listening ear needs to hear. Because I knew I wasn't prepared. I knew I wasn't prepared. And I went into that presentation with all with my knowledge, right? My knowledge in God. And same, you know, template, but that presentation hit so differently. So, yes, I was taking the guidance of this coach. I was taking the wisdom, I was taking the best practices, but I had to bring me to the table. And that's where we're getting lost, is that we're not bringing us to the table. We're not, oh, so and so, I've been seeing this advertisement recently where this guy's talking about, he's a coach and he's talking about, this is not working because you're using a medium that doesn't fit you. Like, you may be a calmer personality. You're not the, razzle dazzle, but then you're out there doing a 5-day challenge, and it don't make sense because that's going to be draining for you. You're not going to be able to keep that up. I'm just sharing that to say there's going to be different things that work for different people, and you can still join programs and learn the things you don't know, but you got to learn you. And you have to learn how to stand up for you as well. Because there have been many times where someone has made a suggestion and I can be decisive about that's not a fit for me. And not because I want you to be, this is why you have to learn you first. Because I have spent that time, I know the difference between something that is challenging me and something that's not for me. Sit with that. Some things are meant to challenge you. You're going to have those growth moments. Some things are just not fit for you. And when you start spending the time doing the self work, getting to know you, that's when that gut feeling that you have let other people usurp, that's when that gut feeling says, that's not a fit. That's when immediately when something is not a fit, you start having that, you know, Not literally, I hope, but you start having that gag reflex, right? Where you're like, that is not for me. So I want you to really get to know yourself. And I want you to be not just know yourself, but be good with yourself. That's the most freeing thing, right? Like people talk about getting in a space where they have freedom. And, you know, to be clear, that could be as an entrepreneur, that could be in your professional space, right? But getting to a space where they have freedom, that's where freedom is. Yes, there is freedom that comes along with, financial freedom. And, two things can be true, right? So there is financial freedom, but I think a even greater freedom is the freedom to be comfortable in being you. To not feel like you have to change you, right? You can improve. You can be a better version of you, but the goal is never to not be you. Once you start to be a carbon copy, once you start to be a clone, then why am I going to you? Why don't I go to the original? Be you. Because there are people out there that are meant for you, but they can't find you if you're not being you, right? Another instance, just, bringing all of this full circle was me even meeting the lady that we did I did an episode of her podcast, so I'll share more about that when we get closer to that air date. But we met on we're both a part of a community together. But we had never met. We were on a virtual call of people who are part of that community. Everybody is not interconnected, right? They just are all connected to this particular coach. And that's how we met. And the call was just really like everybody introducing themselves, but her being her authentic self and me being my authentic self led us both to wanting to know each other more, right? But I could have came in there and been the robot, or said the polished thing that some like scripted thing, right? I could have done that. And there's nothing wrong with having a, like clarity of, how you present yourself. That's not what I'm saying. But sometimes we can get to the point of it being artificial. And nobody looking for anything but for you to be you. So that is, I want you to show me your identity and I want you to be comfortable in it. And just full circle because, right now I am, focused on the, I don't do it all book just because it's the one that came out the latest, but I'm gonna hold up this capable, confident you. If you haven't joined any of the cohorts of the Capable Confident Challenge, but you want to get you want to get to the bottom of feeling comfortable being you and trying to figure out how to stop that feeling of, there's something wrong with me. There's something that needs to change. I'm not good enough. If that's the space that you're in, then I'm gonna need you to go pick up that book because while you may not, be fully ready to invest in yourself, you need to be, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not gonna get into that argument with you today. You can pick up the book. You can, if you can't pick up the book, you can get the ebook. You can get the ebook. But I need you to get on the journey. I need you to start getting to loving yourself and being yourself unapologetically. And stop letting other people's voice deter who you are. And when you get into space where, because this is another part of that conversation, was about, you know, the difference between the good coaches, I know Wicked is popular right now. Like you got the good witches and the bad witches, right? And um the difference between finding a good coach or consultant or, you know, someone to work with, right? One of the things that has always been key to me is how they address individuality. So most of these, um, for lack of a better word, Instagram coaches are just, do this way. There is no variance. You got to be like this. And the reason why you're failing is because you're not. If they are not fostering an authentic version of you, then that's a red flag. That is a red flag. You got to be you. You got to be you, and you just may need tools to help you navigate the space that you're in. But at the end of the day, you are the commodity, right? You are the prize. And the people who are meant for you are looking for you in the way that you deliver it. So, yeah, yeah. So that's what I had on my heart for today. I just wanted to remind you to be you and that you are just bringing out the best in you. I think the thought that just came in my mind, y'all know I'm an analogy girl, is like people in the beauty industry, makeup, hair. I always find the best makeup artists, hairstylists are the ones that can find somebody's individual beauty. And what do I mean by that? Like, I know we've all seen makeup artists where if you look at their before and after pictures, the afters all look the same. No matter if you come in the chair, I come in the chair, if, Julia Roberts come in the chair, we gonna all come out looking exactly the same because in their mind, they have set an idea of what beauty is, right? And so when you come out that chair, I've had several situations where somebody's shown me a picture. It's usually like a special event, like a wedding or something like that, where you have multiple people being done by the same person. And I'm like, well, who? I know this one of my friends that think that might be my cousin. Like they all look the same. I have no clue who is who because but a real, in my opinion, a real talented artist knows how to make you look your best, right? Knows how to bring out the natural beauty in you. And you come out and you also come out looking like you. So that's just a personal thing. Like I love a natural makeup artist like that, I want somebody to, be able to still identify me. I'm not one of the people that have the face recognition on my phone, but if I did, I want my phone to be like, hey girl. I don't want it to be like, who you? How about who this woman? So that's the same thing in the people around you, the people that support you, the professionals that you work with. They should be bringing out the natural beauty of you. All right, I'm gonna leave y'all with that because I got a whole lot to get into. I mentioned to an episode about this. I didn't. I'm gonna just mention it in passing, but I meandered into this new year, and I've been doing that for the last few years. Where I just, come into the new year slow. And I kind of like it. It's weird because everybody else is like going 100 miles an hour. But I just finished the whole year, y'all. I just give me a minute, give me a minute. So, and I had to celebrate my birthday, and I'm not done because the month ain't over. But I I'm moving with intention, but I find personally, and again, we talking about individuality. I find personally when I move into New Year and get all caught up in there, all of y'all's hustle and bustle and this and that and everything else, then I look up and I'm halfway through the year and I'm like, what am I doing? Because it's like full throttle and you don't have time to really get where you need to get, right? So that's me. I don't get caught up in all of that madness. I feel like most times the people that I do see do that, by the time February hits, they tired. They done wore themselves out. Don't even in that type of thing, don't allow people to pressure you to do things that are not working for you. Now, for some people, it does work. And I typically, start my planning for the new year in October anyway. So it's not like I'm waiting for January 1 to get going, but I allow myself a break because I just finished the year, right? Um, but that's what works for me. It may not be the thing that works for you. Find the thing that works for you. I talk about cheat codes all the time. Cheat codes are based on what works for you. Find the thing that works for you. Stop trying to force yourself, your square self into the round peg or the circle into the square. I don't know which way it's supposed to be, but stop trying to force yourself into someone else's paradigm. All right. That's it, y'all. Um, get get the books. I recommend both. They're both short reads. The I Don't Do It All is definitely a short read because it's about time management. I don't want to waste y'all's time. Just, there's actionable steps in both of the books. So get the books. If you want to take it a step further, there's additional resources. If you go to coachdannid.com/author, each book has additional resources you can download, including a book club for each of them for us to go deeper. Every other month, I host the Capable Confident Challenge and the Calendar Detox Challenge. So if you really want to dig in there and get the fullness of results and have me as your support in a group coaching session, setting, not session, because you're going to get 4 weeks of sessions and daily doses of content, small doses, 15 minutes or less. If that's where you are, join the challenges and really get in there, right? Um, I'm trying to think of anything else going on in the world. Be on the lookout for the anthology project. I'll start promoting that soon. And there will be a local in-person summit attached to that anthology because that will be the book release for that. And so I'm excited about that. I've shared with y'all the CEO Safe Space Retreat. So if you are a business owner, leader in that C-suite, and you are ready to take the boss hat off for, 3 to 4 days and, rejuvenate you, we're not building a business. That's separate. We're building you back up so that you can go back to the business or to your, workplace in a different space. But this is about you and dealing with all of the weight that you carry as a CEO, as a business owner, as a leader, right? Um, this Friday is going to be the last day to get the most extended payment plan. That's like the 9-month payment plan. There is an 8-month, so if you can't join by Friday, that's fine. If you're interested, put your application in. That's going to be 10 women only. So when I get to 10, that's it. So put your application in so I can approve it and you can, start getting on your payment plan. to get that paid out by the time it comes up in October. So that's October 20th through the 23rd. So that'll be in the show notes as well. And, if you just want to reach out, have a discussion, you're looking to work together and you're just not sure how, book a call. We can figure out what's the best option for you. Okay. That's all I got for y'all. Go have a amazing, amazing day, week, month, year, right? And I will see you guys next week. Thanks for listening to the Prophets in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with these. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. For more information about creating balance in your life, register for my upcoming calendar detox challenge at CoachDanniD.com. Don't forget to subscribe, join the community, and book a call to find the workflow program that best fits your needs.